Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku. Back with another video here on the live stream. So today, is a stream show that we're doing. Today's topic is mainly going to be covering the future of the DC movies and pretty much the future of DC in general. I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear. I will occasionally look at the chat if we have some interesting questions for the chat. But we're going to cover a lot of the upcoming topics of DC, and if there's some specific topics brought up, we will definitely cover them if they are important. The future of the DC, well, it all goes back to Warner Brothers in general. You know, whether you're watching this on the Twitch or YouTube, that always helps, because we're doing this simultaneously on Twitch and YouTube. So make sure, if you're not following the Twitch, to check out the Twitch as well as here on the YouTube, which is my main platform. So DC, obviously, with the recent sale, the recent upcoming sale to Discovery, the merger. It's not really a merger, it's really a buyout from AT&T, and it is going to be quite interesting on where DC goes. There's been a lot of projects up and coming, and there's still a lot of confusion on the direction of where DC is in terms of the live-action movies, the cinematic movies. Their anime division is doing pretty well for themselves, but it just doesn't seem all that good for the live-action movies. And we're going to cover a lot of the live-action movies, a lot of the upcoming stuff that's coming up, rumors, and all that good stuff. As I put my fan over here, because it is hot. Like, I mean, really hot in the sun right now. Well, it's not sunny anymore, but it's still hot. Anyways. So yeah, by the way, that is my fan if you're hearing that noise. My main topic for the this making me want to do specifically DC right now, and don't worry, we'll probably do other streaming shows in the future for other specific topics that is going on, but I figured, like, you know, instead of talking about, you know, videos over and over again of our classic movies, which I'll still occasionally do videos like that if they need to be, but I figured, like, why not just do a stream show of all the latest news of specific topics like this, with all the stuff coming out and all the new stuff that we hear about when it comes to DC and Warner Brothers and all that stuff. Why not do a show dedicated to talking about this and talking about, you know, the goods and the bads that are coming up right now? So I just think it would just be a nice, good way to talk about different stuff that needs to be addressed, I guess, you know. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys interact, and you know, it'll be very interesting to see what other people have to say about this. So we're gonna get into the main topic of this because I think this is quite interesting topic, and that is Batgirl. The Batgirl movie that is coming up, or it's in development. It is going to be an HBO Max movie. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but leads me to believe it's going to be a bad thing, because why are you not going to put it in the movie theater? You know, that's where you make your most money, so why aren't you putting it in the movie theater? That's kind of concerning. So we don't really know the casting. Maybe that's for better or for worse. So according to the reports that are out there, they're looking for an actress that's in her early 20s to play Barbara Gordon slash Batgirl. They're calling for someone in their 50s to be Commissioner Gordon, which is quite interesting considering the fact that they currently have two Commissioner Gordons currently in their universes. As it stands in the DCEU, Zack Snyder's DCEU, which was a total failure, by the way. Don't like the current direction they're going in, but that does not mean I like Zack Snyder's direction. I hate this narrative now that's being created that, oh, because the direction Warner Brothers is going in is bad, that somehow Zack Snyder's direction was good. I hate that narrative that's been created by the fans. Because I think both their visions sucked. The current vision that Warner Brothers is going for sucks, and I think Zack Snyder's vision sucked. In the way he went with it, with some of his decision makings with the movies. With the exception of the Wonder Woman and Batman thing he tried to do, but then apparently we heard that it was going to be Lois Lane and Bruce Wayne, which is freaking stupid. Who the hell would have come up with that stupid ass idea? Like, seriously, no one wants Batman with freaking Lois Lane. That is like the equivalence of like, that would be like the equivalence of like Chi-Chi not getting with Goku, which makes no sense because they had kids. Like, what the hell, bro? Like, that's some dumb shit right there. You just imagine that. Like, that's some dumb shit right there, you know? So anyways, so Batgirl, like I said, I don't like, where is this supposed to attach to? If you're getting another Commissioner Gordon that's going to be separated from the Batman movie that's coming up, then where is this Batgirl movie supposed to take place? Because unless Commissioner Gordon is Jane Jonas Jameson or whatever, that actor, the actor who played the Spider-Man one, because he was the Commissioner Gordon in the original DCEU. So unless it's going to be that Commissioner Gordon, but not that actor, then I don't really see the point. They don't really specify specific races or ethnicities in this, which concerns me, because, again, I think Batgirl, because she was written to be a white redhead, should be a redhead, because we all know how Hollywood hates redheads. Yeah. So that's concerning to me, because if she's not a redhead, like, I'll have zero interest in this movie, because I want the characters to actually look like the characters in their cartoon counterparts, or not cartoon counterparts, their comic book, I guess cartoon as well, since she is like that in the cartoons as well. Um, so it is a little unsettling that that's not specified here. They're also looking for a villain, um, 50s to 60s, to play the villain that is described as a former firefighter. Um, Interesting. Uh, Anytime fire comes into play regarding the Bat family, our first thought, so Firefly, using Firefly would also be fitting into, uh, was the one of the first villains Barbara fought in Batgirl Year One. I believe that was one of the animated movies, or maybe it was a comic book. It probably was a comic book. I don't know, because I think that was Batman Year One. The movie was Batman Year One. So, uh, so with Batgirl coming up, um, it will be interesting to see where their casting is. Like I said, I'm really concerned at the casting decisions that are going to be made here, because as you guys know, with some of the recent castings Disney has done, has not been really good. Especially the person who was casted as Snow White is a douchebag. And not to mention, Snow White's supposed to be a white character, as she says in the story. So, I don't know, and this whole mess of wokeness is getting everybody up in arms. But I just want the characters to be the way they were drawn, and that's really all I care about. That's really my issue. But then again, if we get a character, if we get someone who's white as Batgirl, if she's like an asshole like the Snow White actor is, I don't even know if I would want her in there. Because that's another thing too. Like, do you really want an asshole as an actor, as the actor? Because like, what's it called? Snow White, actor, and I already forgot her name, but I made that video about that actor. Ziegler was her last name, and I just like, I wouldn't want a white actor casted and be like that, because that's just, I don't want that. I don't want them talking about political shit. Like, I just want them to make a damn movie. I just want to make a damn good movie. That's all I want. But with this being an HBO Max exclusive, I'm quite concerned, because they don't have trust in the movie theaters. So if they don't have trust in the movie theaters, then I'm willing to bet that this movie isn't going to be that good, regardless of who's casted. So I don't know. Hopefully we do get a redhead, because they really are underestimated. 2% of natural born people are redheads. That is a minority group. if we're talking about diversity, then I think redhead should be included in that, since it is a known fact that only 2% of the population are redheads. Um, this is why this is why our Rewind Rumble character's a redhead, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know that. That's really all I can say on that. But we did that on purpose, and I pushed for it. So, so yeah, it's quite interesting to see where they go with it. With Batgirl, that's really all the information we have on Batgirl and their movie and what they're doing with Batgirl right now. Will it be good? Who knows? I mean, what's there to lose? You know, Joker wasn't given that much of a budget, and it made one of the highest grossing films out there, or was one of the highest grossing films, or it was the highest grossing film ever, in DC's film history. So, you know, and that wasn't really budgeted that much when it was made. Of course, it was in the theaters, so I mean, there might be a little different story there, but nonetheless, it worked, and yeah, no issues with that film whatsoever. So yeah, like I said, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, they get an actor that's humbled in their early 20s and not an asshole like Ziggler from Snow White, the Snow White person, because I really don't want to see that more than anything. I don't want to see this debacle of, you know, a person attacking other actors and attacking fans. I don't want to see that anymore. So hopefully we get someone in the early 20s that is a humbled actor and not someone that's going to be an asshole on social media, because I don't want to see that either. So we'll look at some of the questions now. Look at the questions. What is up, Ultimate G? What's going on, JT Max? If you're still here. DC is doing good so far, but the ongoing Teen Titans Go is really bad, and it needs to be canceled. Well, yeah, Teen Titans Go needs to be canceled, but to say DC is doing really good, I highly disagree with that. DC is not doing good. DC Animation's doing pretty good though. CW Batwoman was a joke. I only watched 2 episodes and it wasn't right for me. Yeah, I heard a lot of bad things about Batwoman. That was them trying to, you know, have an LGBTQ character because she is an LGBTQ character, but yeah, it didn't really work out for them, did it? It was just terrible. The whole production was terrible. That I've just heard nothing but bad things about the film. And surprisingly, it got a season 2, which CW must really have terrible standards. JT Max, I don't actually mind redheads. Yeah, redheads are cool. You know, it's like 2% of the population naturally born redheads. You know, that's a minority group. So, you know. But everyone just ignores that, of course. Kyle, he retracted his message, so I don't know exactly what he said. Yeah, so that was our story on Batgirl. And also, I should mention, guys, if there's any other stories for DC that you want me to cover while I'm doing this live stream, just show it off, and I might talk about it. But now that we're on the talking points of Batgirl, I might come back to it if there's anything else people want me to talk about it, but I think I covered the majority of that. Some of the movies that are coming up, obviously Static Shock. Hopefully, I'm really looking forward to Static Shock. I really hope that's going to be a good movie. I don't know if that's going in the movie theaters. I hope it does, because I really would like to see a Static Shock movie. I was a big fan of Static Shock as a kid. Shouldn't say I was that much of a big fan, but I did watch it on Kids WB all the time. That's a big word to say. I mean, people will take it out of context, so. But yeah, I did watch it as a kid. I watched Kids WB all the time, so I did get into Static Shock. Static Shock. I'm trying to see if there's any updates on Static Shock, but all it says still is Michael B. Jordan is producing it, which we already know. Very happy for that. I give props to Michael B. Jordan. He knows what he's talking about. Michael B. Jordan, okay, straight up, he understands what people want. You know, when they were trying to get him to be the Black Superman, because we all know they were in talks with him about being the Black Superman or whatever, before it was even officially announced. Michael B. Jordan went on Oprah Winfrey's show and said that he would rather be Calvin Ellis, which is the Black Superman. Now, Oprah Winfrey doesn't even know who Calvin Ellis is, and he explains it to her who Calvin Ellis is. So you can tell that Michael B. Jordan actually knows more about the comics than most of the public. And of course, people are like, well, you can't do that character because that character's not popular, so people might not like him. So that's their excuse for race swapping Clark Kent, right? For the live action movie. Here's the thing. If you actually present the general audience the new character, Calvin Ellis, they probably will like it. You don't know that for sure. You won't know until you try, right? Tried with Miles Morales. Well, Miles Morales was already popular in the comic books, but if a character's unpopular, you got to make the character popular. Look at Raven. Raven from Teen Titans. This is a known fact, and I don't know if people know about this. Raven, prior to her being in the Teen Titans 2003 series, okay, her comic book strip had been canceled in the 80s. She had no syndication comic books since the 80s. She pops up in the early 2000s in the Teen Titans cartoon show. All of a sudden, she gets a new comic book because of the popularity of the Teen Titans. So, this BS that they have to race up Clark Kent, even though I don't really care about Superman, I don't really like Superman, this whole BS that the media needs to have Clark Kent be black is bullshit, okay? They could make Calvin Ellis a cinematic movie, and it could do very well. They won't know until they try. They won't know until they try. They took risks before with Teen Titans. Obviously, Harley Quinn was introduced in the animated series, as a theater character of all things. That's what she was based off of. So they can create new characters and make them popular. They choose not to because they're lazy. They're lazy. They don't trust the audience is going to do it. Though it's kind of funny because They don't trust the audience and take risks, yet they're willing to cast people incorrectly as characters in movies now. Yeah, kind of hypocritical, but so getting back to Static Shock, uh, it really doesn't seem like there's any updates on Static Shock. But I trust Michael B. Jordan to make it work. Excuse me. I feel like he's gonna know how to do this. He seems to really know comic book characters, you know, and that might be why he wants to do the Static Shock movie, is to introduce a new character that not many people cinematically know about. You know what I mean? So yeah, looking forward to that. Let's see what we got here. The news. All right, so let me check to see what else we got here. So for the Batman, what's it called? The Batman, or not Batman? I'm sorry, the Flashpoint movie that they got going on. They have Flash obviously is in the movie. Michael Keaton's Batman is in the movie. They got Ben Affleck's as Batman in the movie, and then they have the new Supergirl in the movie. Yeah, I'm not kidding about this. So Supergirl, I didn't care that she was a Latino, since she pretty much looks white. So I mean, I didn't have really that much issues with her being the character. But the issue I did have was, they're not having her dye her hair blonde for the movie. I do think she should have dyed her hair blonde or gelled it blonde. That was kind of my only issue with it. Not that I care about Supergirl really that much, but that was the one thing I thought they should have done, and they could easily have done, had her do. But I do not like the outfit she's in. I think the outfit looks weird looking. Like everyone else is saying, like I don't get the outfit at all. But whatever. So the rumors are now that she's going to look much stronger than Batman or Flash, apparently, which I hope this is incorrect, because I mean, you can't make Michael Keaton look stupid. He's freaking Batman. You know what I mean? Like, Batman is supposed to be smarter than everyone. Like, this is some straight up bullshit if this is true, you know what I mean? So quite stupid, if you ask me, about the Flashpoint there. that's really all we've heard about it. We haven't really seen any new scenes about it. Flashpoint is really supposed to coincide with what Spider-Man is doing in the MCU that's coming out this year. So we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, it's probably the one movie that I'm actually looking forward to because it's got Michael Keaton in it. But I don't like this news about the possibility that Supergirl is going to be smarter than Batman. Like how can you be smarter than Batman? Like, you know what I mean? That just makes no sense. So I'm hoping that that's not true. But so far, that seems to be the one that I'm looking forward to out of all these DC movies that are coming out in the next couple of years. So then we go to Aquaman 2, a movie I am not looking forward to. Aquaman 2 is... I mean, I don't really like Aquaman as a character to begin with. I didn't see the first movie because I still don't understand how anyone would like Aquaman as a character. It somehow got $1 billion, which to me is a crock of shit. Because again, for 20 plus years, people bashed Aquaman and had him as a joke and a meme, which he is, and all of a sudden people are now interested in him. Like, I woke up in a Twilight Zone and somehow the movie did good. But nonetheless, even though it did somehow good the first time, I don't think it will do good this time because there's a certain female in the movie that's co-starring, and people don't like her because she did something to her ex-spouse. And so I think this movie is probably gonna tank. Because of it. And it really has no one to blame but Warner Brothers for not firing said person for her actions and her past things that she has done to other ex-spouses. She attacked people. Which we have proof of this. We have proof of this from the social medias. Recordings and other things that happen and whatnot. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be a very good special day for Aquaman 2. But then again, Warner Brothers has no one to blame but themselves since they didn't fire this person. Even though the fans asked for it, and there's like over 1 million SIGs that want her fired. You know? What are you gonna do, guys? What are you gonna do? Anyways. So, what's gonna happen to DC? And like we said, we've talked about some movies. I think those are the upcoming ones. There is the Batman, obviously. We haven't talked about the Batman. I mean, I'm hearing good and bad things about the Batman. It's kind of like a 50-50 approach right now when it comes to the Batman. So I don't exactly know where the Batman's gonna fit in. To be completely honest, I don't know. I don't know where it's gonna fit in because um it's its own universe, but I mean, Batman is the core character of DC. I mean, that is their main bread and butter, so to speak. So, when that comes out, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see where that goes, because Robert Pattinson, I don't know. Like, I haven't really seen his movies to know if he's gonna be good or not. But I'm willing to give him a chance. Um, a lot of people, when it comes to Batman castings, for live action, it seems like a lot of people are very picky when it comes to Batman as a character for live action. Every time when Batman has been casted for live action, like a new actor taking over, they've always complained. Even going far back to Michael Keaton, the original live action Batman. People complained about Michael Keaton and they had concerns about him as Batman. And so I'm willing to be more cautious when it comes to Robert Pattinson, because every Batman that has gotten the role, okay, for live action has gotten criticized before the movie launched. And they ended up being really good. It's happened to Christian Bale too. So I'm willing to give him a chance because, like I said, I mean, most people know him from his terrible Twilight films. Like, but I mean, just because he did that doesn't mean he's not going to be good in this role. So when it comes to the Batman, we'll see. I heard they're going to be retconning Joker's movie into this. So the Joker movie, which I suspected they were going to do this because of how profitable the Joker movie was, that it was going to somehow be retconned into this movie. So basically, this movie is going to reference a lot of the stuff from the Joker movie, which makes sense because this is going to be a younger Batman. This is going to be a Batman that's just starting out, like in his early 20s. He's just starting out as Batman. Usually Batman's like in his 30s. That's usually how they have the character in live action, but they're having him as they're having him as a younger Bruce Wayne, more than anything else. And I think that's quite interesting that they're having a younger Batman, not necessarily an older Batman. And I think that's going to be probably the selling point because it's different. Because that's not how they normally have the Batmans in these type of movies. So we'll see how this goes and how this is going to be received by people. But it works perfectly because in Joker, that I believe took place in the late 70s, right? If I'm not mistaken. And Bruce Wayne was a kid in that movie, as we seen at the end there, where they, obviously one of Joker's followers assassinated Bruce Wayne's family. So that definitely can tie in because again he's in his 20s. But in theory this movie would have to take place like probably it'd probably have to take place in like the 2000s, I would guess, if that was the case. Because if this movie is somehow going to be retconned into is going to be retconned to the Joker movie. If the Joker movie took place in the late 70s or early 80s, and Bruce Wayne is like in his 20s, then it would have to be like the 2000s, right? That he'd be in his 20s, I would imagine. So that's where I think this movie would have to take place if they're going to do something like that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't be able to pull it off, because I mean I don't think it would be that hard to do something in the 90s or something like that, or even in the 2000s. But I think it would be quite interesting to see what the approach will be or what they're going to try to do to make that work. We don't have any questions in the Q&A, so I think we covered a lot. I'm trying to think of any of the other upcoming DC projects that are coming up. I mean, there's the Suicide Squad. I don't know if I'm a fan of this, to be completely honest with you. I'm not like a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the first Suicide Squad, and I don't even know where this is supposed to exactly take place. So, and I don't think there's any new news about that. That's supposed to be coming out soon, though. Obviously, the future with DC is bleak because of Discovery. I mean, Discovery might just end up scrapping a lot of these projects that are happening right now. Whenever that deal goes through. And honestly, with the future of DC, I don't know what the future of DC. The DC future is bleak. I will tell you one thing. If some of these movies don't do something, it's gonna probably be it for. I mean, this is probably it for them. Like, if they don't get like a movie that does good, they're pretty much done. Like, because I don't know where else you can go. Like, honestly, I think, they need to really just kind of start over at this point. Like, with the exception of a couple of movies that you can somehow retcon into that universe or whatever. But I think they should just somehow just start over with this whole thing. Because they've kind of made it to the point where they're already confusing the audience on where everything is. Like, where is the DCEU? Where is it going? You know, what universe are they in? We don't know anything. They don't know anything. And that's the biggest problem. And if these movies don't do well, still, after they make all these changes, I don't know what Discovery's gonna do. Like, Discovery might just be like, forget it. Let's just focus on the things that are making us money, like the animated films, for example. Like the whole live action thing is just not working for them, man. They're just not. It is just not working for them. So I don't exactly know what they plan on doing going forward. Excuse me. I mean, if Aquaman fails, they're probably done. Which I know Aquaman's gonna fail because of that certain somebody who didn't get fired, even though the fans have been demanding her to get fired for a long time. Said person. But even some of these other movies don't seem that promising. Um, so we'll see if that series does good. As we talked about earlier, Batman could be good or bad based on what we're hearing about it. So you never know. But right now, I'm caution about it. But I'm willing to give it a chance because every Batman live action actor was basically criticized before they even got into the suit. So we'll see where that goes. Excuse me. So Batman is amazing. Batman is amazing. He's my favorite DC character. He's my second favorite superhero behind Goku, as we all know, because as we all know, Goku is a superhero, as I've proven before. Um, but yeah, I mean, I love my Batman. You know what I mean? And I'm very very hopeful that the movie does great. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see with that. With how they're gonna handle it. So Batman, Aquaman, Batgirl. Talked about Discovery, Flashpoint. Briefly talked about Suicide Squad because obviously, you know, See where that goes. Wonder Woman 3 won't be out for years, but hopefully it does good. Um, Galvis is amazing. Um, we'll see where that goes with Wonder Woman. Excuse me. Um, but um, to my understanding, that project has been canceled, so there's really no point in talking about it. Um, but that's really all I have to say on that, since it's not really the topic at hand here. Um, but nonetheless, in terms of future upcoming projects, like I said, I think, like I said, I think we talked about all the slates that they got right now. Well, I mean, there was obviously the Snyder Justice League or whatever, the Snyder cut. But I mean, they got Shazam 2 coming out, which I don't honestly know why they're doing Shazam 2 because the movie didn't do that well. But it was a small budget, I guess, so that's why. But I don't understand why they're doing Shazam 2. Especially if, like, Black Adams is not going to be in it. Because, I mean, that's why. You know, Black Adams is having his own movie with The Rock in it. So, why even bother doing a second one until you introduce Black Adam? You know, why isn't Shazam, Captain Marvel, like, interacting with Black Adam? Doesn't make sense to me. James Gunn's Suicide Squad. See where that goes. We talked about briefly, but really nothing to go on with that. Talked about Batman. Um, we could talk about Black Adam, but I don't really know that much about Black Adam, so all I know is The Rock's gonna be in it, so I really can't really speak on how it's gonna be good or not, since I don't know really anything about him. But it's really weird that they're kind of keeping Shazam and or Captain Marvel away from Black Adam. You know, Black Adam's getting his own movie, and Shazam had his movie and origin movie, I guess, and now he's having another movie, even though his first movie didn't do that well. But I don't have any indication that Black Adam is going to be in the sequel of Shazam, so I don't get the point. Um, like I said, the Flashpoint movie is probably the one I'm most interested in because they got Michael Keaton's Batman in there. But I am worried with the Supergirl whole deal because they're saying that Supergirl is gonna like be the like she's gonna be smarter than Batman somehow, which I think is stupid if that's the case. Uh, you know, especially not blonding her hair. Like she could have easily blonde her hair blonde, or dyed her hair blonde, or gelled it so she looks like the comic book character, but she didn't do that. Obviously, we got Aquaman 2, which I find it funny that they're not even mentioning anything about the controversy. We know people don't want to see that movie. Like I said, in development, Wonder Woman 3. Other Batman, I guess. I guess that would be possibly. This probably is like a sequel to the Flashpoint. Lantern Corp. Um, Not sure. I mean, I'm looking at like a website at this point. See what other things that they got going on. Supergirl. Cyborg, which I doubt that's happening. These are some of the stuff that they're thinking about, but nothing's confirmed. Black Hawk. Batgirl, which we already know about, is in development. I think some of these projects are not even confirmed. Some of these are probably canceled projects. Because, yeah. Static Shock. Blue Beetle. I mean, I already know about that train wreck of a Spider-Man. So yeah, most of the stuff that we know about, I've already kind of talked about earlier in this thing. All the things that are developed. There's no Beast Boy movie. There's a Beetle movie, Blue Beetle movie though, coming supposedly in development. I don't really know, since I don't really know that much about Captain Marvel Shazam. But all I heard was it wasn't that really good, and it didn't really make them a profit. But it was a low budget film, so low budget for DC standards at least, or Warner Brothers standards. So maybe it made enough for them to warrant it, but I wouldn't. That's not a DC character. uh, I think they should make a Teen Titans live action movie. I think they. Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, which apparently they took out of the Snyder Cut, by the way. The Snyder Cut Justice League. He was supposed to be in there, but Warner Brothers cut him out for whatever damn reason. I thought they wanted diversity, but they cut out the actual African American character that people love. Like what is with these idiots? They want no, because they race swap characters, but then characters that are African American that people like, they don't put in the movies. Why is that? I mean, well, there's Cyborg, but the reason why Cyborg didn't work was because they didn't have a proper origins for him, and he should have been in the Teen Titans, not the Justice League. Most people know him in the Teen Titans. They should have had a Teen Titans live action movie. And I've said this, and I'll say it until ever. They should have had a Teen Titans Cyborg, not a Justice League Cyborg. Yes, the New 52 Cyborg or New 52 Cyborg was in the Justice League, but not many people know that, and not many people like the New 52 continuity. That's why it was canceled. So yeah, uh, people don't like Cyborg in the Justice League. They prefer him in the Teen Titans, and that's what he should have been in for live action. And he needed a proper origins. And that's why Cyborg sucked in the Justice League, because they didn't know how to handle him correctly. And I have no problem why Ray Fisher was pissed off, because the way they set up Cyborg, they set him up to fail, because they took away his identity. He didn't really do anything. Where's his booyah and all this? Like, there was nothing. He was just like, like they made him the most. They made him so stupid in the movie. I mean, you can't get behind the guy. They got rid of his jokes. They got rid of what made him Cyborg. They got rid of him as a character. You know, they made him just this, oh, I'm the buffed Cyborg character, and just didn't work. People didn't like that. They wanted to see the Teen Titans Cyborg, and they ruined that. And they didn't put John Stewart's Green Lantern, which is another powerful African American character. And they cut him out in the Snyder Cut. I thought they're supposed to be diverse now, right? Yeah, okay. Take out the African American character that people like. Yeah. They take out the characters that people like, and then they race swap characters. You know. Trying to hope that people will leech off of these other characters that are already popular. We already talked about the Black Superman. You know, that's a farce and a half. They should be trying to develop Calvin Ellis instead of trying to race Ben Clark Kent. Or, I'm sorry, did I say that right? Race swap Clark Kent and try to develop Calvin Ellis, Superman. I don't really like Superman, but, you know, that was what they should do if you want to make a black Superman. Yeah, they did Cyborg dirty. It's really unfortunate. I love Cyborg, and it's really sad at how terrible they really screwed up Cyborg. And Ray Fisher, because, you know, the character got screwed, and the actor who portrayed the character got screwed. So, it's a double-edged sword, if you ask me. So, it's a double-edged sword, and it's really unfortunate that they did that to those characters. Character and actor. I think Teen Titans should have done really well with a white action. What? A white action? What? I don't need what? Oh. I don't even get what that means, but yeah, Teen Titans live action movie would have worked perfectly. You know, you could have even got James Gunn to do it. I mean, like, James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I'm almost certain he could have done a Teen Titans movie. So, yeah. You still waiting for Static Shock movie? Yeah, we talked about Static Shock earlier. We already talked about Static Shock. I'm very looking forward to a Static Shock live action movie, which Michael B. Jordan is doing. Excuse me. I think it will do very well. Michael B. Jordan knows comic books. he schooled Oprah Winfrey in that. Like, he was very intelligent and, like, basically told her, like, I want new characters to be developed like Calvin Ellis. She had no idea who Calvin Ellis was. He's for anybody who doesn't know who Calvin Ellis is, he's an African American Superman. And Oprah Winfrey had no idea who this was. And Michael B. Jordan basically schooled her in his comic book knowledge and basically told her that he's an African American Superman, and he would be perfect for a movie character, and that's who they should be doing, and that's who Michael B. Jordan wants to do. That's what he wanted to do. All right, he had an interview with DC execs about a Black Superman months before they announced this Black Superman project. Okay, he told them no to come up with a script because they had no script. They had no direction. They had no idea of what they wanted to do. And Michael B. Jordan also basically told him he wanted it to be Calvin Ellis. He name drops Calvin Ellis to Oprah Winfrey in an interview. Like, that's who he wanted. He doesn't want this race swapping character crap that they're rumored to be doing for this Black Superman project. He didn't want to be associated with that, and that's why he's doing the Static Shock movie. He's not acting in it. He's I believe a producer on the movie. I don't know if he's gonna direct it, but I know he's like a producer on this movie. He basically. And that's why we're getting a Static Shock live-action movie, by the way, because he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Come back to me when you actually have a script and a direction for that Black Superman project, but I'll do the Static Shock movie for you. And that's why we're getting a Static Shock movie. So big ups to Michael B. Jordan on that. Another good character, like I said, that I watched when I watched Kids WB back in the day. So, can't wait to see that. No, I think it should have done very well live action. Yeah, I do think it will be done very well. Word 7, 8, 9. DC is done. Why did they end Snyder cut with a cliffhanger if they had no intention of continuing it? Well, as I already talked about earlier when we were talking about a little bit about the Snyder cut in itself, I'm not a fan of Zack Snyder. I know a lot of people like Zack Snyder. I did not like his work that he did for the movies. Though that does not mean that I don't like I like the direction that DC's going in. I hate the direction DC's going in. But just because I hate the direction DC's going in with the movies right now does not mean I think Zack Snyder's work is amazing like everyone else does. It's really weird because that's kind of the narrative now, is that everybody hates the work that DC's doing now. So because of that, they automatically have to go to back to Zack Snyder, and I don't agree with that. I think Zack Snyder's films weren't that good either. So it's a double-edged sword for me because I don't like the direction DC's going in, period, whether you go back to Zack Snyder or you go in this dumb direction that they're going in right now. I don't like the direction they've gone with regardless of what they're doing currently, if you know what I mean. In terms of the cliffhanger, I'm not exactly sure because I don't have HBO Max, so I didn't watch the Snyder Cut. So, I'm not sure, unfortunately, Word. But all I can really say on that is Warner Brothers being Warner Brothers, I guess. Or DC being DC, I don't know. That's really all I can say on that. I don't know. Maybe in the future, or maybe they're trolling us. I don't know. Um, at least you got it. That's all I can say, really. Unfortunately, um, because there was possibility that there wasn't going to even be a Snyder cut, and then we got it. So, I mean, that's really all I can really say on that. I mean, I don't know. It sucks. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen that ends in a cliffhanger that we never get again. So, unfortunately, that just happens sometimes. Will Static Shock get its own movie? Like, no Teen Titans or no Justice League crossover, just like its own movie. Static Shock is getting its own live action movie. Like, that's already been confirmed. Michael B. Jordan, like, is executive producing it. Because he said no to the Black Superman project before it was even announced. He basically said that he didn't want to do it because they didn't have a script at the time and a direction on what they wanted to do with this Black Superman character that they wanted to make in live action. But also, Michael B. Jordan wanted to be Calvin Ellis. He wanted it to be the Calvin Ellis Superman, which is actual canon Black Superman, not Clark Kent, who's white. And it seems like, at least for now, the speculation is that the Superman that they're doing is going to be a black Clark Kent, which a lot of people don't like. Now, granted, I'm not a Superman fan. As you all know, if you're a subscriber to my channel, you know I absolutely loathe Superman. So this really doesn't hurt me, per se, as much, but it seems to be something that a lot of people don't like. So there's that. We'll have to wait and see, but because Michael B. Jordan said no to that project, he pushed for a Static Shock live action movie, and he's not playing Static Shock, by the way. He's, at least to my understanding, he's not, because it's not going to be an adult version of Static Shock. It's going to be a teenager of Static Shock, so obviously he won't be Static Shock, but he'll be casting a teenager African-American Static Shock to be the character for obvious reasons, because Static Shock is black, so he has to be black. Obviously, source material character there. But yeah, that's what we're looking at right now with that project. Hopefully it does good, though, because I don't know if it's going to be in theaters, but I really hope it is in theaters, because I really want to see that movie. I'm like really excited to see what Michael B. Jordan does with that Static Shock movie. Because I really do like Static Shock. So I'm really hoping that it does good. Hopefully we get to that point, because obviously Discovery is going to be taking over Warner Brothers soon, so hopefully that ends up happening. Word said true. I don't think that Justice League Dark Apocalypse War movie should end with a cliffhanger. What do you... is that a specific chapter, I'm assuming, for the Snyder Cut? I don't know. I didn't watch it, so... I can't really say how that works, unfortunately, when it comes to the Snyder Cut and all that stuff. If I ever get an HBO Max, I might check it out, but I don't really know if I want to, because I'm just not a fan of Zack Snyder's work as in the DC. I just don't like how he did it. I mean, I don't like the superheroes he chose for the Justice League. I don't like the superheroes chose for the DCEU. I think he should have based it off of the animated Justice League series for the Justice League, the original 7, um, and not have Cyborg in the Justice League. I think the Cyborg in the Justice League was stupid. I think he should have been in the Teen Titans if you were going to have him in a movie. So, like I said, I've been a very critic when it comes to Snyder's vision of how to make the DCEU. Like I said, I'm not saying that the direction that DC's going in right now currently is good. I don't. But just because the direction they're going in right now isn't good doesn't mean that I think Zack Snyder's vision was good either. So that's kind of where my stance is on it. Wouldn't it be an adult Static Shock be a better idea for the movie? No, because Static Shock is a kid in the source material. Like, he's a teenager. So, no, I think it would make more sense for him to be a kid. Kind of like Spider-Man. You know, Spider-Man starts off as a high school... Well, in the Maguire... Or in the... I guess in the Raimi verse, wasn't he in, like... No, in the Raimi verse, wasn't he, like, in high school? He was in high school at first, right? Or was he? Yeah, he was in high school. He was in high school. So he starts off in high school, and that's the same thing with Static Shock. Like, it's like a high school type deal. So, it's a high school type deal. So, I think I like that idea better. I like that idea better because that's kind of how he was started off, like in the cartoon and whatnot. So I like to see that more. And maybe you see sequels or whatever if it does good in the future. If it's successful. And we'll have to see where it goes from there when it comes to the Static Shock movie. I hope it does good. That's all I can say. But hopefully we get to that point because I have no idea where DC's going right now with everything they're doing. Not firing that person, not firing the person that pretty much is going to ruin the sequel to Aquaman 2. Which was $1 billion movie and is probably gonna tank because she's in the movie. To all these other really weird decisions Warner Brothers is doing with all these other movies that they're doing. It doesn't look good. I mean, it really doesn't, because if these movies all fail, you might not get to a fourth movie. You know what I mean? You might not get to a fourth movie, if 3 of the other movies fail that are coming up in the box office right now. You might not get to a 3rd movie, or a 4th movie, or a 5th movie. So all these other movies that are coming up, they might not make it. They might not be good. And they might end up failing, and then DC might have no choice. Especially if once they're taken over by Discovery. Discovery's going to be like looking at the numbers and looking at the books and seeing that all these movies have sucked in the box office. And they're going to be like, do we really want to keep these guys, doing these movies? And that's probably going to be the end. Like, that's probably going to be the end of the movies. If they don't do something very soon to really fix this and put out a movie that's going to make money, then we're probably looking at DC being done with because of it. So that's kind of the unfortunate thing about it. Especially since they got a lot of very good IPs. So yeah, guys, that's probably it right now. I'm gonna cover. I mean, we've been over an hour now. We covered pretty much every movie, I think. Um, and we talked about it. We did answered some questions. So I hope we covered everything. Hopefully, we'll do this again. We'll get bigger and better, and we'll bring up some new topics. Make sure to follow on the YouTube and the Twitch. Hit those bells for all the latest content. Subscribe, follow. Same name on Twitch. For people that have been watching this on Twitch. And that's really about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku.